to introduce the 27th Administrator of the U.S. Small Business Administration, Miss Isabella Casillas Guzman. Sworn in on March 17, 2021, Administrator Guzman represents the more than 30 million U.S. small businesses and is committed to helping small business owners and entrepreneurs grow, and be resilient. A lifelong proponent of small businesses, Ms. Guzman grew up as the daughter of a small business owner and learned at a very young age how important small businesses are to the communities they serve, the people they employ, and the economies that they empower. Appointed by Governor Gavin Newsom in 2019, Administrator Guzman also served as the director of the California Office of Small Business Advocate. In that role, she served as the voice of small businesses and innovative startups in the fifth largest economy in the world. She administered and advocated the programs and initiatives to help small businesses access capital, markets, and networks for stronger outcomes. She and her team helped connect entrepreneurs in every community with the resources needed. As the Economic Recovery Support Function Coordinator of the state, she focused on resilience and most recently worked to help small businesses access relief during the COVID-19 pandemic. In California, Administrator Guzman oversaw a network of small business centers focused on expanding assistance to underserved business groups. She launched new public-private partnerships and collaborated in delivering cutting-edge resources to small businesses. She launched new through initiatives like Get Digital CA to increase technology and e-commerce adoption and source local to strengthen supply chain readiness. She advocated fiercely for financial relief for small businesses, leading to the expansion of state-supported lending and the largest COVID-19 grant relief program in the nation at over $2.5 billion. Her office launched the Entrepreneurship Task Force to serve as a bridge to small businesses and create content and programs to help strengthen the competitiveness of startup and small firms. Administrator Guzman is not new to the SBA leadership. She previously served as the agency's Deputy Chief of Staff and Senior Advisor during the Obama-Biden administration, where she oversaw policy and program implementation. She was a small business entrepreneur herself and an advisor to fellow founders in accelerating technology commercialization and in helping small business contractors leverage the federal marketplace. Administrator Guzman earned a bachelor's degree in science from the University of Pennsylvania Wharton School of Business. Please join me in welcoming Administrator Guzman.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, hello, good morning, everyone. It's great to be here in person with you. I was glad that I was in town. Well, thank you so much, Chairwoman Shirley Bailey, for that warm introduction. It was great to hear your success story as well. Congratulations. You know, I know that you have committed leadership at the helm of the HUBZone Contractors National Council, an organization that really does vital work in lifting up so many of our America's small businesses in underutilized and under-resourced communities. I also want to take a moment to recognize our Government Contracting and Business Development Associate Administrator, Bibi Hidalgo, as well as her team. And in particular, I would like to thank GCBD team member Lori Gillen, who's our director of the HUBZone office. Lori's here along with Bruce Purdy. And they've been working so diligently, I think, as you all know, over the past year and a half during COVID, stepping up to create this new SBA. I know that, in particular, I often tell the people that I talk to about the SBA workforce that they have an unparalleled commitment to our mission, which is really trying to deliver against the promise to help small businesses succeed, and especially when it comes to doing business with the federal government. And our Government Contracting Business Development team has just unparalleled commitment. I'd also like to thank Council Executive Director Michelle Burnett. Let's see where she is. She's probably darting around here, but all the council members for inviting me here today and for steering the HUBZone Contractors National Council through the pandemic's unprecedented challenges and still finding ways to increase contracting opportunities, impact legislation and federal priorities, as well as promote economic development. I look forward to working together to strengthen and expand the SBA's HUBZone program, which is such an important part of the SBA's contracting portfolio. I'm also excited to be here with our HUBZone businesses. Thank you all for joining to share experiences and opportunities, challenges and solutions. Your insights are vital to propel our policy. You've faced down incredible uncertainty and major market shifts over the past 18 months. And with trademark grit, determination, and ingenuity, you've survived and in some cases thrived. That is a testament to the strength of the American entrepreneurial spirit, and it's what keeps me inspired to work harder every day, especially during COVID, to ensure that our businesses have the tools and resources that are needed to achieve their best performance, sustaining our communities and fueling our economy. I grew up in a small business family, as was mentioned. I understand what it takes to start, grow, and sustain a small business. I've been an entrepreneur myself and have worked with founders in multiple industries, from banking to manufacturing, and worked as well to help businesses leverage the federal marketplace and the commercialization in SBIR, STTR world. I understand firsthand what it means when complicated requirements and high costs in terms of money, time, and resources hold too many businesses back from growth opportunities. And I understand the challenges and barriers that really limit the federal government from being more accessible. We are hard to navigate. And I want all of our entrepreneurs in every corner of the nation to be able to access these vital programs. Under my leadership, the SBA is working diligently to help more businesses, especially those from underserved communities, and especially in connecting with the government marketplace. Equity is at the core of President Biden's plan to reimagine our economy. Our HUBZone program is a big part of that effort, and it continues to grow its impact. Earlier this year, I announced that even amid the pandemic, we saw continued progress toward the federal government's 3% goal. And half of all HUBZone contracting agencies have raised the bar from the previous year. My team tells me that 2 agencies in particular deserve a shout out here, and hopefully they're here. The first is the Department of Defense, which awarded nearly 20% more federal dollars through HUBZone-only contracting vehicles in fiscal 20 as compared to 2019. And that's just remarkable growth, so kudos to DoD. The second is the Department of Transportation, which not only hit their 3% overall target, but delivered a remarkable 182% increase in HUBZone-only contracting vehicles. Both of these agencies are so committed to working with the SBA to try to advance small business contracting. In total, in fiscal year 2020, the government delivered more than $2.7 billion through HUBZone exclusive contracts to qualifying firms and communities. Those aren't just dollars in contracts. Those are businesses surviving and thriving. Those are jobs created and families supported, all through a global pandemic, so job retention. I think that we know, especially with HUBZone programs, how much families and communities are impacted. Even before the pandemic, HUBZone firms, together with all of our government contractors, were a critical component in our work to strengthen America's supply chains, rebuild our infrastructure, expand domestic manufacturing, and propel innovation. So as we turn now to rebuilding and implementing President Biden's Build Back Better agenda, I want our HUBZone firms to be front and center. We recently finalized significant expansions in the HUBZone footprint, approving 30 new census tracts in Illinois, for example, requested by Governor Pritzker through the new Governor's Designated Areas Initiative, and enabled us to push, in addition to that, though, we also added the 400 qualified non-metro counties that will enable us to push needed services into many of our nation's most rural communities. And I know the HUBZone Council in particular played a key role in working with Congress to fix the formula and in the statute and allow for this significant expansion into rural areas, which we know have been impacted and need our attention. As a result of this work, 1/3 of all counties across America are now qualified HUB zones. That's impressive, and that's significant growth. That is opening up exciting new opportunities for thousands of new customers and partners as they look to scale up and add to our nation's growing push to build our nation back better than ever. To that end, the SBA will continue to leverage our district offices and our resource partners to share HUBZone expansions and improvements and get the word out so that more states could leverage these opportunities. We need everyone from our contracting agencies to local business networks and governments and business influence out there to hear about these opportunities to take advantage of them. And we hope we can partner with you to get the word out. We're also establishing a new manufacturing and supply chain hub in our government contracting and business development office. President Biden recently announced this in one of his speeches because it's really to help America's small and underserved businesses go beyond just getting a fair share to becoming a key driving force in expanding America's industrial base, allowing us to further our manufacturing independence and our global competitiveness. Investing in our HUBZone programs is an important part of the better in President Biden's Build Back Better agenda. And no one has come through this crisis unscathed. We are recognizing that. And while there are industries that have managed to escape the worst fallout, even those essential sectors, we've seen firsthand that, for example, manufacturing still took a hit. And are still reeling from the effects of COVID, whether it was supply chain disruptions or even worse, challenges such as the fact that job vacancies have doubled during the time of COVID for our small manufacturers. Rebuilding America's small manufacturers will be critical to revitalizing our hardest hit places, the underserved communities served by the HUBZone program, and to rebuilding resilient domestic supply chains. For example, so many of our small government contractors responded to this crisis by pivoting operations to help our public and private sector find, manufacture, and distribute PPE. They also helped us with other essential tools and for fighting the virus. Our small innovators and our manufacturers are leading with life-changing and life-saving work. We're answering all of these challenges by making the small business manufacturing a top priority at the SBA with our new manufacturing and supply chain hub, which is led by Lori Gillen. This work is place-based and will help fuel our HUBZone program, which is so critical as an added boost because we are on track for continued growth in HUBZone-only contracts. That is certainly reason for hope and celebration, but many agencies are still falling short of the 3% target. We need to do better. Our SBA team will continue shining a spotlight on these program improvements for our procuring agencies, and our HUBZone office will be rolling out new educational tools and resources later this month to help contracting officers seize these new opportunities and maximize their positive impact. We're also taking steps to share best practices from the agencies that are having successes so others can see the path and follow their lead. Ultimately, you are our greatest partners out there in this effort. In addition to sharing information and best practices across your networks, I do invite you all to connect with Lori, Bruce, and others at the SBA to share your thoughts with us on how we can build on the growth that we're seeing in new firms seizing HUBZone opportunities. We are committed to rolling up our sleeves with you to address these issues and barriers that limit HUBZone growth. I'm relying on my past experiences and expertise in this space, as well as my critical GCBD team, to try to make advances and finally make some changes that can really impact our HUBZone performance. One issue I know many of you are tracking with great interest, as am I, is category management. The issue has been a priority for me and for this administration from day one as we look to find solutions to expand small business contracting. Now more than ever, when we are focused on supply chain resilience and our global competitiveness and made in America, we do need all of our small business contractors, yet we've lost almost 40% of our small business industrial base over the last 10 years. That's a huge drop at an unfortunate time. But we've also seen a 60% drop in the number of new entrants. And just in the last 5 years, $60 billion that used to go to small businesses have been bundled and are no longer accessible. We must find solutions to ensure small business participation isn't limited by category management. And the Biden-Harris administration is stepping up to take on this challenge specifically, and we are making significant progress. We are working around the clock across the administration and with Congress to explore other policy and process solutions, so we look forward to your feedback. Some of those policy issues include the insurance of performance on our subcontracting goals. we are committed to making significant changes to move the needle in this program. My priority really across every program and service is to be as entrepreneurial as the small businesses that we serve. We know that they've had to pivot and adapt. SBA has scaled from a $40 billion agency to over $1 trillion in relief. We've launched 6 new programs, completely new programs like restaurants and shuttered venues and others, our PPP forgiveness portal, as well as revamped 6 others. And I know that in order for my team to implement these types of programs, we've had to be customer first, technology forward, and equitable to get the results that we've been able to achieve. It's been effective in getting relief into the hands of our small businesses swiftly and efficiently. And in those past 6 months, when we actually created these programs, these 6 new programs, and updated 6 more, we've continued to deliver billions of dollars in emergency relief to our small businesses. And billions more are still available through COVID EIDL and targeted advance and supplemental targeted advance. President Biden's Build Back Better agenda is working its way through Congress now, and reconciliation will help us advance these efforts further by creating a national network of small business incubators and innovation hubs, also while empowering the small firms to participate in federal R&D initiatives. As well, it'll build technical assistance infrastructure to help small businesses tap into federal contracting opportunities, as well as finance them through SBA-backed loans and investments, and everything's on the table. We're looking at direct lending and various SBIC formats like venture SBIC and micro SBIC to propel capital, especially to our contractors, to take advantage of opportunities. And then when it comes to contracting opportunities, the bipartisan infrastructure deal will be a game changer for small businesses with a $1.2 trillion of investment in infrastructure spending. So we want to make sure that our contractors, our small contractors, are positioned to leverage those opportunities. And so look forward to some of these great programs that are being considered by Congress in reconciliation. There's never been a more crucial time for us to ensure that all entrepreneurs have the support and the resources they need to thrive and grow. If our economy is going to recover, we need to support all of our small businesses to create those jobs and generate wealth and uplift communities, remembering that we need all of our great ideas from everywhere and anywhere, as the president says, to succeed. And we know that small businesses are up to the task, and the SBA is definitely up to the task as well to support and partner with you all to make sure that we can fuel our nation's economic future. I really am appreciative of the commitment that you have to engaging with the federal government, and we want to make sure that it is more navigable, more accessible, so that small businesses can truly access and build their dreams around federal contracting. So thank you so much for all that you do, and thank you for having me here today. I appreciate your time.
That's fantastic, and we really appreciate your dedication and support to the HUBZone program and to all small business programs. And as a token of our appreciation, we'd like to present you, make sure it's the right one. No. We'd like to present you our HUBZone champion.